Today I'm chatting with Dylon Baker, real estate agent located in the Solano County area. Dylon mentioned just before we recorded that this was right up against Napa Valley for those who are not familiar with the area. Dylon, thanks so much for chatting today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So to start from the beginning of your real estate career, when and how did you get into real estate?
So I started real estate in 2016, I think it was. But I got into real estate because, there is an idea that with real estate you kind of create your own schedule and you got all this free time. I stepped into real estate because I wanted to serve at our church and spend a lot of time there while still, supporting our
Mhm.
income, taking care of people there. And it turned into something totally different than what I expected. Not only did I realize, hey, in order to really take care of people in real estate, you got to be available for people. And two, I ended up really falling in love with helping people accomplish their goals. And
Mm.
so we took real estate from I was like a part-time agent on a team to diving in fully and completely. And I was on a real estate team for 5 years. And then 2 years ago, I jumped out. We started our own team. And man, that was a nervous jump, but it's been amazing. It's been really, really great. And we're happy where we're at, and we're excited for what the future looks like.
That's so cool. So whenever you first started in 2016, were you expecting to work part-time and then you realized you needed to work full-time?
Oh yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
would be like part-time. I thought, show a couple houses. I had no idea what the real estate world looked like.
Yeah.
I was in my young 20s, and so
Yeah.
when I started, it was a whole different world than what I expected. But man, I love where we're at now. It's just been,
That's
yeah.
that's so great. So if you can remember, where did your first deal come from?
Previous agent that moved out of the area handed that client off to me, and it was my first client. My palms were sweaty. I was nervous, but I was
Yeah,
trying to keep it like calm on the surface. But man, I still remember her today. Her name's Jamie. She's a really great lady.
that's great. So
Yeah.
what made you decide 2 years ago to leave that team and start your own team from scratch?
Sure. I was working on that team for a long time, and I really wanted to build something where we can kind of build and develop the kind of culture that I wanted to have for our clients. I really wanted more of a relationship-based business. The team that I was a part of, they were great. I learned so much from them. But we did do a lot of like online leads, and I wanted to really generate, like a sphere and a community of people that we can work with. And
Mhm.
rather than just selling them a home and walking away, we really wanted to be like their real estate advisors.
Mhm.
So for all of our clients now, if we're helping you buy a home, we don't stop talking to you after the home is closed. We
Mhm.
introduce our clients to what we call our pillars of wealth. So one is going to be your primary residential real estate. You got to have a good real estate advisor. Two would be getting your home in a trust, especially in California. So our next step is to introduce you to a good trust attorney. Then we want to introduce you to a good CPA who can help you take advantage of, your tax incentives for your mortgage interest deduction. And then lastly, we're going to introduce you to a good financial advisor who can help advise you on your investments.
Yeah.
And I tell clients, if you have those four pillars, the likelihood of you being able to build out your wealth and build out your real estate portfolio is so much more likely. And so we kind of build out this community that I was really wanting to build. And
Mhm.
that's why I stepped away from the team that I was at and really kind of jumped out on my own. And again, like I said, I was nervous, I was scared, but man, it's been really, really great.
Yeah, well, that's the first time I've ever heard of that. How did you come up with the idea to have those four pillars?
Yeah, it's a mix of there's people in our office. It's a mix of I'm a part of a real estate coaching program called The Core, and they really are big on building relationship-based businesses
Mm.
and taking care of your clients beyond just the sale. And then through that, getting introduced to people that have helped out us, you know, um, that has kind of helped me get an idea of introducing people that can help out our clients. And so we've kind of built and developed this. So when we sit down with a buyer, for example, our first meeting, we're not just talking about how many bedrooms do you want, what's your bedroom, bathroom, square footage count. We're going to dive into that. But also, I want to let you know this is also what we're building. We're not just building out your home purchase, but we're going to build out your real estate portfolio. And I think it services clients long term. It goes beyond just the sale. And, you know, the more you take care of your clients, the more that they're going to refer back to you. You can
Mhm.
get an incredible experience for 30 days, but they're going to remember you about just that 30 days.
Right.
If you're building their wealth and you care about them long term, they're going to remember you forever. And so that's what we're really looking for.
Sounds like you need a webinar to do, you need to do a webinar on that if you haven't already. If you're
I
allowed to
haven't.
share.
Maybe we should. You could
Yeah.
teach about that.
No, you can. I don't know anything about that, but that's really cool. So, 2 years ago, you started a team. What does your team look like now? Do you have any agents in the team, or is it
It's
just
really
you?
small. It's me. I have an assistant and I have a transaction coordinator, and that's it. But we got vision for something that's big, you know? So
Yeah.
I always say, you know, begin with the end in mind. So we have a vision for what we would want to build, but right now it's just the trio
Yeah.
and working to build toward the big goal.
Well, that's great. So you mentioned online leads. Can you give an overview of where a lot of your business comes from? Does a portion of it come from online leads?
Yeah, when I first stepped out and started our own business, you know, I wanted to respect the team that I was from. And so a lot of those relationships stayed with that, you know, real estate team. So we kind of had to start from ground up. So we started with doing a lot of online leads. So any online lead platform where I didn't have to pay for it up front, but it was a performance-based like referral fee system, we were on every single thing you can think of. I was driving all over the place. And you know, we also tapped into our sphere in our community. So I would say for the first year, we were about 80% online leads. Last year, we kind of moved more toward a lot of the, you know, sphere and community-based lead sources. And this year, our goal is really if we can get about 60-40, so 60% of our business is from our community, and
Mhm.
then the remaining 40% is still online, then that would be a more healthy transition. And we're looking to build that out to the point where we get to about 80-20.
Yeah. Well, it's really rare for me to hear. So a lot of people I talk to, they do generate online leads, but
Mhm.
I've never heard anyone say 80% of their business comes from online leads. They mostly say I convert, I know like 3% of my business is online, and then the remaining 97% of my business is from past clients and referrals.
Yeah.
So how did you achieve 80% of your business being online?
It was hard. It was, you know, going through a lot of people. I mean, that first year we closed 36 deals. So it's not like we were closing hundreds and hundreds. So it's 36 was our first, you know, however many homes we sold in, I think it was 2022 on that first year on our own. That was the amount of deals that we closed that year. 80% of that were all online deals, but it took a lot of like filtering out. You know, I was answering the phone constantly. We're driving around all over the place. But you know, it's really, I think the hard thing with online leads is there's a barrier of trust. You know, you
Mhm.
just randomly met this person online, you have no idea who they are. And, you know, I tell a lot of people in real estate, like, look, if I'm selling you a home, I don't have to sell Alina on a home that she likes, right? Like, I don't have to sell you on a home that has great granite countertops and the design style that you want. Really, you just have to, you know, learn, like, trust me, right? And so, like, the commodity that we deal with is trust. And so, like, if I can sit down and show you, like, look, I'm not here to sell you something, I'm here to help guide you. And then you can overcome that barrier of trust. I think that's something that a lot of people are missing. You know, we've become
Yeah.
like set. I'll just show you whatever home you're looking for. But
Mhm.
if you really sit down with people and kind of dive into a little bit more about what their goals look like and show them that, look, I care about what you're looking for, then that's where that trust level, you know, really comes in and that those walls come down. So I think there's a barrier that makes online leads difficult, but if we can get in front of people, have a human to human connection, and then show them like looking to help you accomplish your goal, then it makes it a lot easier. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because people get in a mindset of I just need to dial for dollars or whatever that saying
Mhm.
is, where they're not really treating the person on the other line as a human when they finally do have that connection. Whenever you're successfully able to get rid of this barrier and people are starting to trust you, do you think it's because of a specific script you're using, or is it simply you're listening to the person and you're having a conversation with them?
I think there are things that you say routinely Like if I'm making phone calls and my wife's in the house, she knows like what part of the phone call I'm at, because we're in the real estate business, things change house to house, but the process is similar, right? So there are
Yeah.
things you say that are similar, but I think it's like called active listening. So if I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm already thinking about the next thing that I'm saying, but not genuinely listening to what you're saying, and then
Mhm.
that's a good sign that you're probably just going through a script.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so I think it's like truly listening to what people are saying and trying to solve a problem for them. Like if I don't have a problem to solve, there's no value I can bring to you.
Mhm.
But like, what's the problem that you have? Are you nervous? Okay, let's talk about that nervousness. That's totally common. Do you not know if you can afford it? Okay, let's talk to somebody who can help you, like coach you on that. Do you not know if you can win an offer? Okay, let's talk about what that offer process looks like. So it's like listening to what they're saying and then responding to it rather than like having a set script and like
Yeah.
going through that script and trying to bang out as many people as possible, if that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
totally get that. Yeah, like I'm sure you're familiar with like LP Mama, where people are just trying to find out location, price. Don't remember all the
Oh
those
yeah.
that, and then some people bring like a sheet of paper or a notepad and they have a list of questions they want answered. And so just like you're saying, sure, they may be listening and nodding their head, but they're not trying to progress that conversation based on what people said. They're just
Yep.
like, okay, write it down. Next question. Oh, okay, write it down. And so the person doesn't feel a connection. It feels kind of robotic.
And that's super valuable, I think, when you're starting, right? Because you don't know like the right
What
questions
to
to ask,
know. Yeah.
But it's like the process of getting that script off the paper and in yourself and understanding why that script is leading you to those questions is like the deeper level thought, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
No, it does. Yeah. So driving around, calling these leads, getting incoming calls, what sorts of tools online are you using to help manage all of this? Like, do you use a CRM? Do you use other applications? What does your, I guess, tech stack quote
We're
look like?
we're super simple. We use Follow Up Boss. I've gone through so many different like CRMs. Follow Up Boss was a little confusing for me because I was used to like the full scale platforms. So like Commission Inc., Boomtown, where they do your CRM, they do your website, they do it like everything for you. And then they have all of the pre-made drip campaigns and stuff. But when we switched to Follow Up Boss, I like it because it's very simple. Like I can see my communication level with our clients. I think the emails that come through Follow Up Boss in terms of the drip campaign look very natural. One of the other CRMs I use, like as simple as this, like clients aren't dumb, right? If they see an email
Mhm.
that comes through, it's like DB at 123GH79,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Like this is
The
a spam.
big sender email address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I send an email through Follow Boss or one of the drip campaigns comes through, it comes through at my email address. So
Hmm.
there's like a level. I'm sorry, my phone is blown up. There's level of like, okay, this is a real email. So that's one thing that I love about Follow Up Boss. And like I said, I was confused about Follow Up Boss at first. I didn't understand like it's a CRM, but it's not a website. It's
Hmm.
CRM, but it doesn't have, and then the smart lists confused me, but it took me a while to understand it. But now that I see like the purpose behind Follow Boss, I really, really like it because it adds a level of like is this a word? Customizability.
Customizable. Yeah,
There
maybe
you go. Yeah.
customizable.
It adds a level where you can customize it yourself, right? So I don't have to just stick with whatever, website Boomtown's giving me
Yeah,
or whatever
exactly.
website, Commissions Inc. is giving me. I can pick whatever website, hosting platform that we use. So right now we use Luxury Presence. I think they built a really great looking website. I think that it looks good. Their onboarding process was awesome. They really understood like the look and feel for what we wanted. And then making changes was super simple. Like our team got onboarded onto the website really, really quick. And then for our like home search platform, we use Real Scout, which was a recent change. And man, I can't tell you how amazing. Like it has been really, really great to have Real Scout. The
Mhm.
ability, I mean, we have like 300 people in our database. And I didn't know who was active or what people
Mhm.
were looking at or what people were interested in. And then as soon as we onboarded Real Scout, I posted on one of the Follow Up Boss website or Facebook pages. we had like 100 people like looking at homes and favoriting homes and liking homes, and a couple people sending me messages out of nowhere. And so it was just all of this activity that I was unaware of. So it was
Yeah.
really good. And then the other thing that I like about Real Scout is their seller platform. So we were using HomeBot, and now we're using Real Scout's seller platform. And the reason why I like the two is HomeBot definitely gives like, this is what your home's estimated value is, and it gives it a number, right? Which could be dangerous, you know, if they've added more value to the house for updates, or if they haven't taken good care of the house, you know, it's dangerous to get that single number because people get married to that number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Real Scout, it gives them a range. This website says your value could be between these two numbers. This website says your value could be between these two numbers. And the purpose of it is to drive it back to you. So they put a thing there that says there's a large difference between your home values based on automated value modules. We recommend talking to your real estate professional. And I have had like 5 people in the last, I think we've had Real Scout for a month and a half now. 5 people in the month and a half message me and go, hey, can you give me some more details on my home's value?
That's so great.
And then we set an appointment to do like a thorough walkthrough of their home. So our tech stack is Luxury Presence is our website. Real Scout is our buyer and seller like search engines. And then Follow Up Boss is our CRM. And Elena is our brains of the operation behind everything. So your like action plans and drip campaigns have been incredible. I've seen a ton of them, you know, especially being on like a high performing team. I've seen all kinds of drip campaigns, but I like drip campaigns that feel natural. And I think
Mhm.
the ones that you put together feel really natural. And I don't like overdoing it, like sending someone an email like every single week or every couple of days. Like, look, I will call them, you know, if I really need to get a hold of them, but I like providing value over long periods of time. I mean, your drip campaigns are like, there's like 300 steps, you know, like really, really good. And the smart lists, like knowing when to call people, how often to call people, they make it so simple. Like I can log in and I go, okay, in smart list number 1, I have 7 people to call. Smart list number 2, I have 13 people to call. Smart list number 3, I've got 20 people to call. And you just go down the line, it simplifies the process so much more. So if I have a tech stack, that's my tech stack.
Yeah. So going back to where you mentioned you were really used to all-in-one platforms like Sync and Boomtown, what
Mhm.
problems were you facing in those platforms that made you decide in the first place to check out Follow Boss?
They, you know, when you buy like an all-in-one platform, you are all in on whatever they have, right? I don't have the opportunity to change something that I might want changed. Like one thing, like if you have Follow Up Boss, there's like a whole development and beta section where if you have an idea of something that you want changed, you can put it into that beta development page, and then you can see all of the other like requests that people are, you know, requesting. We went on there. I went on there the other day and I saw like something that someone said would be a really great feature, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be awesome. And you can vote on if you also like that. So I just think that's really great. Like there's so much more ability to customize. Like I think of it like, you know, buying a, I guess the best way to describe it would be like, you can buy a car, like I can buy a Honda Accord and I get a Honda Accord, right? Or I can go get a customized car. And if I want a faster engine, I can put a faster engine in there. If I want better wheels, I can put better wheels on there. Like there's so much more
Yeah.
ability to make it fit you rather than buying a whole all-in-one platform. And not to mention the price is so much better, right? Like the overall value that you're getting is here and the price, you know, is really, really good. So I think the value is just incredible. So
That's
that's my
good. Yeah, well, yeah, I have the same views about Follow Boss. It's sort of a best in class CRM. They
Mhm.
focus on one thing and then they let other best in class tools integrate with them, and they have that open API, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so you mentioned when you first started using Follow Boss, it was a little bit confusing. You didn't know what smart lists were. You were kind of overwhelmed. I guess my first question is, why did you decide to stick with it if you were confused and overwhelmed?
Yeah. I think, you know, I don't know if it's most people, but like I feel like a lot of people, like if something's confusing, it's too much work to try and figure it out, right?
Mhm.
But I think there's value in that. Like I love learning. Like my wife, she makes fun of me because I'm always like watching different YouTube videos, and like my habit is like I get really interested in things for like 2 weeks. Like I bought a saxophone a couple months ago, and I'm learning saxophone, and
How funny.
watching a ton of videos on saxophone. I signed up for like a Tough Mudder, like 10K, like I'm gonna do this, so I'm constantly learning. And so when we approached Follow Boss and I was confused about it, instead of like walking away from it, I was like, okay, let's figure it out. Let's see what this is all about, because it could be beneficial long term,
Mhm.
instead of letting that barrier to entry confuse me and push me away. Let's figure it out. And honestly, I posted on a Facebook, a follow Facebook group, and someone mentioned you. And then after we got in touch with you and went through your whole system, I mean, it made it so much more like clear. Like we were able to understand it so much more.
Mm.
Like these are your smart lists. This is what you need to do. This smart list represents this. This smart list represents this. And it was that really helped change the game. So, I mean, I can attribute it to my like ability to push through and figure it out. But also at the same time, it's like, when you have the right people make a difference.
Mhm. So since you love learning so much, what led you to decide, instead of continuing to try to learn it and set it up yourself, what led you to seek outside help rather than continuing to buckle down and learn and set it up yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I like to figure things out, but also I know like what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. Like I can talk, like I'm really good at that. But like sitting down and trying to like organize like the smart list to the like most optimal way and like really diving into that, not my strong suit. So I don't think it's bad to ask for help, if you need help. So that's when I posted on that Facebook group, like, hey, does anybody know how we can help? And actually, someone linked a video of another agent in Florida, and then he was talking about you. And then that's how I got connected with you. And
Oh,
so,
okay.
it's just a really great community. Like I've gone on that Facebook group so many times and got answers, or I post something and I get answers, like the
Yeah.
community is great. Like it's surprising, especially for like an internet community where people typically roast each other. Like that
Hmm.
is super supportive.
Yeah, it's a very different vibe, I guess is the way to put it, of people being giving instead of kind of gatekeeping their ideas and not wanting to share. It's all very, very open.
So true. Yep.
Yeah. So let me think. So you mentioned the smart list a little bit. Can you share a little bit more about the other aspects of the setup you now have in Follow Up Boss?
Yeah. So the smart lists are great. The action plans are incredible. So the action plans are when a lead comes in, and you could do a different action plan per lead source, which I think is awesome. Like that was another thing that I didn't understand. We can change it per lead source. So like if I get a lead in from like our roofer, well, we can change that first initial email to say, hey, Ray told us that we should connect together. Like we can make it customized to like as many lead sources as we want, which is
Mm-hmm.
so awesome. And then that action plan will continue to, reach out to that person on a consistent basis on like a preset schedule. And we can kind of change it how we want. So like, here's a really good example. We had a client, it's a past client of mine. I have had the hardest time trying to get in touch with this person. Like, he's a really great guy, but he's very busy. And like I told you from the beginning, we stay in touch with our clients consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, really liked him, really cool guy, very tough to get a hold of because he's busy. So I understand that. Our Real Scout home valuation email went out to him, and it gave him a wide range. And I know he's done a ton of stuff to his house. And he sent me a message to ask for an updated like home valuation, which I was in another meeting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's this hard guy to get a hold of, but like I think you set it up like 3 minutes after he sent that response, we sent an email, and it was like a very naturally worded email and asked for, hey, let's get a time where we can talk over the phone that might help. And then he emailed me back and said, let's jump on the phone tomorrow between this time and this time. And I was like blown away. I was in a completely different meeting, and it worked out like perfectly. And I think I screenshotted an email to you. I was like, Elena, this is awesome. So all of these things really, really help make a difference. Not to like So we don't have to do any work on our end. Like there's still work to be done on our end. But man, when you're servicing so many different people, especially when we're building a business where we're real relationship based, you want to stay relationship based with people and you want to stay in touch with them. And so having these action plans work out the way that they do is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and these tools not only benefit you, but they benefit your clients. Like the experience the client had with Real Scout, he probably enjoyed that experience. It has a nice design on the platform, and it recommends they talk to you. And then the experience of him feeling more valued by you because he did receive that natural sounding email from you. He emailed you back because he liked that experience that he received within 5 minutes. So that's the whole goal of like, a lot of agents try to look at tools and say, how does it benefit me? How can I get more leads? How can I close more leads? But then also thinking, okay, how can these tools benefit leads and clients to enjoy their experience with me, is a huge thing to look at. So last question for you before I let you go. If someone were on the fence about hiring outside help, what would you tell them?
They were on the fence about hiring outside help. What would I tell them? In the nicest way possible, you're probably really great at like 5 things, but you're not going to be good at everything. And so allowing people who are good at those things you aren't good at doesn't take away from how amazing you are, but you want to add people to your team to elevate your team. Like you can't go somewhere far and you can't do something great all by yourself. So I forget the saying, but it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so like understanding what you're really good at and then understanding what you're not good at and allowing people who are really good at this help you and elevate you, you know? I think that's the number one thing that people can look at. And like time is money, like especially in our business. Like I can go be face to face with a client and it takes me like I get an hour of face to face time with somebody. That's so much more valuable for me than me trying to write like action plans and like time it all out. And like I don't have the data to know like when's a good time frame to send emails out on a consistent basis or what these emails should say. Like my job is to be in front of people or like be at someone's home and like walking them through what they should do to get a better return on investment. I'm not a tech person, right? So get people that can help you and it's going to elevate you a whole lot more. So I guess that would be my spiel. You know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah, I agree completely. On your topic, what you were saying about each person has different strengths. I'm opposite of you. My strength is not people. I would fail miserably as an agent. I don't have that. I'm an introverted a person. So talking to people drains me. At the end of the day, I would just be so tired. And actually, I was finding that just talking and doing sales calls with people, I realized this is not my strength. My strength is database management and automation. So I asked for help. I wasn't scared to say, you know what, I shouldn't be ashamed that this is not my strength. I hired help. And so kind of the same, what's the word, thought process that you have on the flip side of that. So yeah, I thank you for doing this video. I know a lot of people will find this very, very helpful in the community.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, your team is great. Like any email that I have or any idea that I have, like my assistant knows I have these random ideas and I'm like, let's do this. And she kind of helps temper me a little bit. But if we shoot off an email to your team, like I quickly get a response and it's like very welcoming, very kind. Like, all right, let's work on it. Like I know I've proposed to you like a project we want to work on. All right, let's talk about it. Let's do it. And so, yeah, when you have a great team like that, it makes everything better.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Dylan.
All right. Thank you.